up, everyone? Welcome to Duval Daily. I'm Jack McFaul. I hope everyone's having a good one as your Jacksonville Jaguars win a massive game against the Indianapolis Colts. Going into this game, if someone said that the Jaguars would have won this one 39 to 19, I would have called them crazy. And of course, a lot went into that. But yeah, such a huge win to now have sole possession of first place in the AFC South. With 4 games to go, the Jaguars now control their own destiny and are primed for a position in the postseason. So very, very exciting. Everyone on this team right now is playing their best football of the year, and most of them their best football in their careers. So, like I said, it's very exciting, and it's definitely a good time to be a Jaguars fan. Um, in his presser after the game, Coach Coen brought up how he thinks that the Texans collapse a month ago was a good thing for the team and the staff because it showed them that it's important to fire on all cylinders all the time, regardless of opponent or score. And since that game, it's been a completely different team in all 3 phases. 3 of those 4 games, excluding the Cardinals, has been total domination for the Jaguars, and everything has gone in their favor. All 3 phases have been incredible. So as awful as that loss was, and as much as it still may hurt, maybe it was an important moment for the young team and a young staff to learn how to win. And hey, I'll take it if they look at it as a positive, and think that that game is a big reason why they've played the way they've played this last month. I'll take it. As much as that loss still definitely stings. So thank you so much for being here. I hope everyone at the bank on Sunday had a great time. It looked awesome on the broadcast, even with the rain. The vibes seem pretty great. Definitely would have been a fun one to be at. Wish I could. Uh, and yeah, let's dive into this win now. Before I get into the individual phases, I want to quickly point out and just say the only real negative coming out of this game, and it's that the team just still commits way too many penalties and costly ones at that. 8 penalties for 64 yards was the number in this game. And look, it's better than it's been in past games, but I also think that the officiating crew was pretty soft in this one with some calls on both sides. For the Colts, I mean, they called that offensive pass interference on Pittman on the touchdown. Probably was not OPI, um, but still, I mean, it's too many. Uh, the one OPI on Jacoby Myers brought a touchdown back for Brenton Strange, which obviously at that point of the game, it didn't change the outcome. The game was pretty much over at that point already, but it does need to get cleaned up. So in close games, stuff like that doesn't happen. When they can't afford to have touchdowns like that wiped off the board. And honestly, I'm still kind of confident that it will get cleaned up this year, even though it's already December and it hasn't yet. But we'll see. I mean, these next 4 games are obviously the biggest games of the year, and then hopefully they make the playoffs, and obviously that is the biggest game of the year. So hopefully with that, it gets cleaned up. We'll see. I am still confident though in that. Looking directly at the offense, I think every part of the team complemented each other perfectly in this one, as I said earlier, which makes sense. I mean, they scored 36 points on offense. Trevor Lawrence continues to impress and really be the reason the Jaguars are winning games this past month so handily. 105.2 quarterback rating in this one, even in some pretty brutal conditions for the passing operation, with the rain the entire game. He's been smart and surgical in the past game as well as he's used his legs in those big third downs or, if there's nothing there, he'll take the 5 yards and scramble. He's just overall conducted the offense perfectly since that Texans game. And frankly, I mean, it's hard to point to 5 quarterbacks in football that have played better in the past month or so of the season. Truly, it is. It's interesting because if you look back to last season, it was around this time of the season, maybe a little earlier, but around the same time that Baker Mayfield really took off with Liam Coen, and I think we're kind of starting to see that with Trevor. He's very clearly becoming more comfortable in Cohen's scheme that is pretty difficult openly on the quarterbacks with the checks, with the audibles, with the motions, with the complex calls. Uh, it's why it's important to be patient, in a new system, especially one as complex as Liam Cohen's, and it's starting to pay off, after some ups and downs in the first half of the season. Trevor's best play of the season and some of the best play of his career, honestly, is coming at such a pivotal point, and it has, helped the entire offense execute, including the run game. Which brings us to our next key to this win specifically, which is Travis Etienne, who played a great game. He found the end zone twice with 84 scrimmage yards. He only averaged 3.7 a carry, which on paper isn't great, and that includes a 28-yard touchdown. So he really didn't have his best game average wise, but watching the game back or just watching the game while it was happening, um, he was still at the line on so many runs, uh, especially towards the end of the game when the Jags were in clear run downs, and Molman's just trying to run the clock out. So I think that accounts for some of it, but if you watch, in the first half especially, he had some runs where he showed some really great vision, some great burst, which he's shown all season, right? It's not anything new, but he definitely played a better game than the average per carry shows, which isn't always the best to look at and judge a game based on that because it can be skewed with big runs, of course. But yeah, no, he played a great game, and the Colts have a phenomenal run defense too. So you'll definitely take what you can get. You'll take the 82 scrimmage yards from your running back, no doubt. He's another guy that's going to be so important for this end of the season push as well. And everyone is, right? I mean, these are games that they need to win, but the Jaguars have looked the most complete on offense in games where they're able to run the ball effectively all four quarters. So he's naturally going to have to stay hot, obviously. Um, Now, wrapping it up for the offensive line had another incredible performance. They've really at times this season been so good. Um, Zero sacks, zero QB hits, and I had to bring him up again. I have like five times this season already, but Cole Van Landen continues to just be so valuable and as valuable of a piece on the offensive line as anyone, really. He stepped in for injured Walker Little this Sunday, and played a phenomenal game at left tackle. I mean, he didn't no QB hits, no sacks on the line, so he obviously played great. He's still the only player to play all four positions on the line in the NFL this season, and he's played all four at an extremely high starter level. He's been, what I think the front office envisioned Patrick McCarry to be, which is, a guy that can step in and play every position at a high level. And that's not a knock on that signing at all because McCarry's been pretty good at right guard. But yeah, Van Landen put you in a position as an offense and as a play caller where if there's an injury on the line, you don't need to change any philosophies because the line and the execution is not missing a beat. So yeah, I mean, shout out Cole Van Landen for what he's providing for this team. He's been so valuable, truly so valuable. Cannot be stressed enough. Um, as for the defense, they played an incredible game, and obviously, I mean, they only gave up 19 points, with six of those coming on a touchdown in the fourth quarter when the starters were out of the game. So obviously, they played a good game. But the key to winning this game that everyone agreed on and was, I mean, without a doubt, a priority in the building going into the game was stopping Jonathan Taylor. When teams have held him in check, the Colts have struggled. That's how it's been the whole season. He is their offense. He has a unique ability to completely take over games himself. And what did the Jags do? They held him to 74 yards on 21 carries. He did really nothing all game. He had no big lanes open up. His longest run was, I think, 14 yards. And he never even really hit like a top speeder, came close to his top speed because he was bottled up so fast in all these runs. The Jags have the best run defense in the NFL in terms of yards per game, and I think just with the eye test, they are the best run defense in the NFL this year. Um, this actually was the first running back that has run for over 70 yards in a game against them this season, which is an insane stat. And it came December 7th, which is crazy. They dominated, obviously. You can't ask for much more from a defensive front. Obviously, there's no doubt having Trayvon and Eric Armstead back in this game made a massive difference, especially in the run game. If they weren't out there, probably would have been different. Um, but yeah, I mean that run defense, that stout run defense that they've had all year. It's hopefully something that they'll be able to count on, for the rest of the regular season and hopefully playoffs. It's something that they, like I said, hopefully will be able to count on and not have to, worry too much about because especially in the playoffs, teams win in the run game. You win in the trenches, right? That's how it is. So having that is going to be massive for the rest of the season. Now, as for the rest of the defense, they did their job. Obviously, two interceptions. One of them on the Colts' first play of the game by Devin Lloyd, who's obviously been amazing all year. I know that all of the doubters and the people that refuse to give the Jaguars credit will talk about how it was a backup quarterback. So sad for Daniel Jones, by the way. I feel bad for him. I really feel for him with the year he was having. He probably shouldn't have even been out there in the first place with the fibula injury, which makes it even more heartbreaking and tough for him. Hopefully he recovers quickly. But yeah, people will talk about how it was backup quarterback, backup rookie quarterback, so it isn't impressive, but I don't care. To me, it was still impressive. They still made the plays in the run game to make it a complete non-factor against an MVP caliber running back. And apart from a couple plays throughout the game, gave nothing really, nothing easy to the quarterbacks in terms of the passing game. I don't care who was playing quarterback. Discrediting teams for who's put in front of them and beating who was put in front of them is the dumbest argument in sports. I'll never understand that. But it is what it is, whatever. Heinz Allen now has 6.5 sacks in the past 6 games. And really, when you account for how incredible he is in run defense, along with that pass rush, he has really been one of the best players in the NFL, period, in that stretch. He's just been so awesome for that defense. And he's such a massive part of why they've been so successful. And look, I know a lot of people were not happy with his play at the start of the year because the sack numbers weren't there, but he really has been good all year, and the sacks are just finally coming. And I'd like to think that anyone that was complaining about how the year started for him has since realized he's good, right? Everything's fine. But yeah, he's been awesome. He's been so good. Can't ask for any more from him really in the past month and a half, 2 months. So now the Jaguars have the Jets on deck, at home in the bank again, with the Texans creeping up right behind them for the race in the South. I think the Colts, with what happened and the injuries they've had, I don't want to say anything I shouldn't, but they really don't seem like they're going to be much of a threat anymore. After a 7-1 start, which is crazy, but yeah, I guess we'll see. But Houston's schedule in the last four is extremely easy. They play the Chargers, but other than that, they're going to win. Winning out might be the reality of that. So the Jaguars are just going to have to match it and win. It's as simple as that. They're getting healthier, which is massive. They came out of the Colts game seemingly completely healthy, which is huge. I think that's something that hasn't really been talked about yet, but is massive. And hopefully they can get Wingard and Little back for the Jets, which is a boost, especially on the defense where, Campanelli now has Eric Murray back, right? Hopefully Wingard back and Antonio Johnson, who's actually been pretty great. So he has three safeties in those three that have played well enough to earn starting time on the field. So obviously, I mean, it's a good issue to have as a coordinator and as a team, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. If it's a rotation, if someone doesn't play, if they're on the bench, well, I guess we shall see. But who knows? Yeah. Jets on deck, like I said. I mean, good teams win games they're supposed to win, and this is one of those where they better come out, excuse me, firing and beat this team. But that's neither here nor there right now. Obviously, there'll be coverage leading up to that game for the rest of the week. But for now, enjoy this victory. I feel like it's almost anticlimactic because the Jags kind of won so quickly. It felt like it was so easy almost, but this is one of the biggest games the team has played in years, and the score and how it happened doesn't change that. It feels awesome to win it. A great Sunday. So yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy that for the rest of the week, and that'll be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, enjoy the rest of your week and go Jags.